Let me make it crystal clear. You survived betrayal because you have the kind of strength even monsters envy. Think about that day, the one when everything caved in. Not because you failed, but because someone chose destruction over truth. You trusted. You gave your heart, your secrets, your best self. And somewhere close by, the person you depended on was plotting your fall. Not by mistake, not out of confusion, by choice. That's the essence of betrayal. It's patient, cold, precise. A knife not plunged by an enemy, but by a hand you used to hold. The pain doesn't announce itself. It creeps up in the darkness, taking out the light, leaving you breathless in silence. That moment rewrote reality. Your self-worth, stolen. Your confidence, torn from your chest. Suddenly, every smile you remembered turns suspicious. Every word spoken, every memory made becomes contaminated. You ask yourself if you were naive, too trusting. You wonder if being strong enough to let someone in was the fatal flaw. No, it was never your weakness. They used your inner strength, your courage to trust, as a weapon because they knew you were capable of real loyalty. They chose betrayal because they saw your spark and feared it. In doing so, they unleashed a storm. You don't respond with drama. You don't plead. You don't shout your pain on every corner. No, you go silent. You vanish. You let the world assume your defeat. But in that silence, you become dangerous. The monster they feared is born, not to destroy but to transform. All those sleepless nights, all that doubt and agony, become fuel. You work harder. You become more focused. The agony of exclusion morphs into a relentless dark motivation. With every ignored message, every unanswered call, you grow colder, stronger, and more determined to outlast the pain. There's something special about silence that only those betrayed understand. Strength in silence isn't weakness, it's weaponized patience. You disappear from their game, refusing to play the victim. Your absence is more telling than any confrontation. You become the question in their mind, the ghost they can't escape. And inside that void, you build. You build your comeback from the ground up. Not a timid return begging for a second chance, but a brutal ascent that makes everyone wonder how you survived it all. Pain becomes your forge. Every pang of regret, every wave of sorrow, becomes a brick in the fortress protecting your new self. You don't want validation. You want evolution. You want to become someone so far above what they imagined that your existence mocks their betrayal. You get up at 4 a.m., training in darkness, reading late into the night, and refusing to let their absence define you. The betrayal becomes your origin story. Every act of growth is a nail in the coffin of the old you. The more they expect desperation, the more you grind in private, becoming unstoppable. There's a loop that keeps gnawing at them. Why aren't you reaching out? Why haven't you crumbled? Your refusal to play their game is the revenge through success. Every achievement, every moment of peace, every evidence of strength is karma. Karma returning in silence, not violence. Ask yourself, who are you now that trust has been killed? Who are you now that every memory is marked by pain? You're the person who was erased but kept breathing. You're the beast that decided survival wasn't enough. You would thrive. Resilient mindset isn't just an Instagram caption or motivational cliche, it's your reality. It's the evidence of a war won behind closed doors. A battle no one saw but everyone will feel when you emerge. You no longer care for approval or appreciation. You carry your scars like artillery. Each wound is a proof of endurance. Healing journey is no longer a wish, it's your mission. Moving on isn't just forgetting, it's a refusal to let betrayal shape any more of your story. You carry their memory as a warning, not a wound. Here's the reveal. Your greatest weapon is indifference. It's not rage, not vengeance, it's withdrawal. You don't need to win them back. Each day you build, each boundary you set, every limit you exceed is a step away from the past and toward a future so sharp, so elevated, that their names become dust in your history. This is the truth. Overcoming pain means refusing to give more energy to what tried to destroy you. It means lifting yourself so high that your transformation becomes a threat, a myth, a legend they whisper about but never see again. The world waits for your next move, but you don't reveal it. You stay silent, keep building, and become the impossible. The real loop is never closed. You don't owe an ending, a clean finish, or a final word. You live with the discomfort, the open wound, turning it into power. This isn't just your comeback. This is your redemption arc. Let them wonder. Let them doubt. While they look for closure, you are already gone, already ascended, already colder, stronger, and truly unstoppable. You need to hear this. There are only two kinds of pain in this world: the pain that destroys, and the pain that remakes you into something monstrous. After betrayal, you don't just lose people. You lose the invitations, the attention, the presence. The familiar sound of your phone buzzing with messages disappears. The calls that kept you laughing vanish. Group chats fill with jokes and secrets you're no longer part of. The silence is suffocating, not dramatic, just a slow ache eating away your sense of belonging. You keep checking your notifications, hoping to see a lifeline thrown your way. But nothing comes. You have become invisible. Every day feels like you're wandering through a ghost town built from your old life. Laughter echoes in the distance but never reaches you. Friends who swore loyalty now barely glance your way. The ache is deep. Rejection not by strangers but by those who once called you essential. You witness the parties, the celebrations, all from the cold side of the glass. And you wonder, did I matter? Or was I just convenient? This is the terror of betrayal, discovering you were always optional. What do you do with this pain? Some people retreat into their shell, some lash out. But monsters metabolize. The emptiness becomes a forge. You revisit every moment, every conversation, searching for reasons, for closure, for meaning. Was it something you said? Was it your intensity? Did you care too little or too much? Every possibility stings. Every self-doubt grows. Days blend into nights, nights into endless hours of questioning your self-worth, your very existence. It's not just loneliness, it's humiliation. It's watching people erase you and not even noticing your absence. Every interaction now comes with a shadow. Will they remember? Will they care? Will they turn away once more? You drift in circles, haunted by questions with no answers. And in the silence, your heart turns cold. Where once kindness flourished, now survival is instinct. And every time a former friend looks away, every time a love interest acts indifferent, you bleed a little more. But here's the catch. Pain is a teacher crueler than any enemy. In the solitude, a strange transformation ignites. Your pain doesn't weaken you, it hardens you. That resilient mindset, once just talk, now becomes your reality. You stop seeking applause. You stop begging for closure. You begin building in secret. You read late into the night, train harder than you ever did before, cut loose the weight of old habits, and ask yourself relentlessly, who am I if no one else is here? The truth is simple. You are the beast that survives. Every single day you rebuild yourself, brick by brick in silence, for no audience except your own soul. Hours spent in isolation become laboratories for change. Each ignored call, each unanswered message is recycled into motivation. The world thinks you faded. They have no idea. You are learning the meaning of strength in silence. You refuse to hand your power to anyone. Every moment becomes a trial. Every trial a lesson. Every lesson another piece of armor. Your indifference becomes a weapon. The world that cut you off expects tears. You give it silence. It's not easy. There are nights you sob quietly, wishing for a resurrection, an apology, the old comfort. You imagine what you'd say if someone finally reached out, but nobody does. So you let each tear become another nail in the coffin of your old self. The monster within is growing stronger by the minute. You are building emotional resilience incubated by hardship. You are preparing for a comeback that will make everything before look pale in comparison. They will notice, eventually. They'll sense the shift in you. the posture straighter, the voice deeper, the laughs fewer but sharper. Every glance they give you is loaded with curiosity now. How did you survive? You survived because you transformed pain into power. You survived because you learned that monsters don't beg. Monsters build. Your journey is relentless. You wake early, grind longer, outlast your past. The people who disregarded you begin to see a new beast evolving. The distance they imposed is now your shield. You become immune to rejection, fueled not by memories but by vision. The hunger they left becomes your drive. You establish boundaries. Say no to the things that weaken, yes to the things that harden, and you no longer care for approval. Your mission becomes clear. Healing after betrayal means refusing to ever be invisible again. That's the gap, the curiosity. They want to know, what are you building in silence? Why are you moving forward when you should be stuck, broken, defeated? The answer is simple. Monsters rise from pain, and your pain has become a forge for the unstoppable. A day comes when you spot them across the room. They smile, unsure. You nod, cold. The dance is over. Attention for attention. Validation for validation. You do not perform. You do not explain your journey. You show them your indifference is absolute. The silent revenge is simple. They get nothing from you. No drama, no closure, no weakness. Only a wall of strength they cannot climb. You are not just moving on. You are leveling up, acquiring skills, dominating problems, seeking out challenges that would have terrified you before. Your story becomes a legend, a rumor, a ghost haunting their memory. Did they make a mistake? Are you happier now? The answer is irrelevant. You become the myth, the monster in the shadows, always rebuilding, never looking back. Ask yourself, one last time, what does strength look like? It looks like silence, like patience, like daily transformation. It looks like someone who became a legend because pain refused to destroy them. It looks like you, resilient, cold, powerful, rising higher with every memory of rejection. You do not end the story. You just keep writing. The loop remains open, the monster keeps building, and the world keeps waiting for your next move. While they search for closure, you create possibility. You are the comeback. You are the myth. You are the definition of unstoppable. Let's get one thing straight. You are not broken. You are being remade, and your enemy will not recognize you when you return. The mirror becomes your greatest adversary. Every morning, you stare at a reflection you barely recognize. Where did that confidence go? The glimmer in your eyes gone. Every line on your face, every shadow under your skin whispers doubt, defeat, humiliation. The betrayal rewrote the blueprint of your soul, tore out the foundation of your identity, and left you with rubble. You reach for the old version of yourself, the person who felt solid and secure, but all you touch is empty space. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the echo of laughter from who you used to be. That silent mockery is the start of your transformation. At first, you blame yourself. Over and over, you replay conversations, analyze gestures, hunt for the moment you went wrong. Was it a careless word? Did your intensity scare them? Were you too weak, too needy, too trusting? The questions haunt you, each one twisting deeper into your sense of worth. You become both your harshest critic and your bitterest prosecutor, convinced the verdict must be guilty. Maybe if you had been smarter, funnier, stronger, maybe then you wouldn't have been left behind. That spiral becomes a cage. You question every decision, every instinct, every fragment of hope. Here's what most never admit. That monster in you doesn't just want revenge, it wants answers. But closure is a myth. No words will undo what happened. No apology will give you back what was lost. Instead, you arrive at the endless night where explanations don't matter. Only survival. Only evolution. The self-hatred grows until it reaches its breaking point. Somewhere in that sea of blame, a spark ignites. A cold, focused anger. Not chaotic, but surgical. An anger aimed at the chains wrapped around your spirit. You realize you didn't deserve what happened. You did nothing wrong. The fault was in their vision, not your existence. That realization is sharp enough to cause a rebirth. You stop asking why they hurt you, and ask why you have been hurting yourself since. That rage becomes fuel, no longer aimed at them, but toward the cage that kept you believing you had to earn your worth. Every time you catch yourself apologizing for occupying space in this world, you dig deeper, not to find the old UA, but to build a new beast. Piece by piece, you reclaim territory. You eat better, sleep deeper, train harder. The world ignores your progress, but you see it. Each micro-victory is a step away from the shadows. Your discipline turns savage. Early mornings, late nights, alone against the world. You are no longer a victim. You are a prisoner who is breaking out, brick by brick. The process isn't glamorous. It's messy, raw, angry. Sometimes you want to quit. But every time you resist the urge to call, to explain, to beg, you rack up another win. The inner voice, once venomous, begins to respect you. This is not self-love. This is self-conquest. As your body changes, so does your posture, voice, energy. The mirror stops mocking and starts reflecting someone new, someone who survived humiliation and chose transformation. People begin to notice, not the ones who betrayed you. They see only from a distance, curious, uncertain, unsettled. But strangers sense the new presence, the weight of someone who rebuilt from dust. You're colder, sharper, less forgiving. That's what pain does. It obliterates the unnecessary. Questions linger in the air. Are you stronger, or just numb? Has the coldness saved you, or cost you something irreplaceable? Will you ever trust again? The answer is incomplete, but the process keeps moving forward. Every scar is proof. Every boundary is sacred. You become what you always feared, a beast, but one who protects rather than devours. People test your strength, throw their drama your way, tempt you with old patterns. You refuse every time. You recognize manipulation for what it is. You refuse entry to weak energy. Your time becomes precious. Your attention, rare. The more they push, the more they feel your distance, and it scares them. You are not callous, but you no longer apologize for your boundaries. You are rebuilding your self-worth from the ashes, and nobody can buy entry into your new castle. This is the age of the glow-up. Not the flashy makeover, but the silent build. Habits stack. One meal, one workout, one lesson, one book, one meditation. Growth is internal. Validation is retired. Every skill, every discipline, every moment awake when others sleep is a shackle removed. Another step toward the throne. Your mind is fortified. Panic attacks become battle drills. Doubt becomes curiosity. You spot the traps before they close, and you walk around them without a word. The old version of you would have walked right in, and you thank your pain for the wisdom. The healing journey isn't glamorous, but it's the way of the monster who is tired of being prey. You learn to love solitude. In silence, true thoughts emerge. You see how capable you are, how little you need those who left. You smile at the unspoken victories, celebrate the secret breakthroughs. The world may never see the grind, but it cannot deny the results. Your spirit is unbreakable because you broke yourself and rebuilt every shard. Every day, you collect proof that pain built you, proof that growth is vengeance, proof that living well is the only silent revenge you need. You stop trying to prove the world wrong. You prove yourself right. The new you, colder, stronger, smarter, more dangerous, walks away from the old battlefield. The war is over, but the process never ends. There's always another boundary, another lesson, another layer of armor to forge. The beast keeps building, and while the echoes of betrayal sometimes haunt the night, they never stop the day. That's the legend you create, relentless, evolving, perfectly unstoppable. You don't chase happy endings. You embrace open loops, permanent tension, infinite strength. The mirror is no longer your enemy, it's your scoreboard, and with every passing day, you get further from who you were and closer to everything you will become. Understand this. Disappearing isn't weakness, it's your first act of silent revenge and your evolution into something unstoppable. When the world expects fireworks, you give it oblivion. You drop off their radar. No dramatic posts, no desperate messages, no explanations. The people who hurt you crave your reaction because it's proof they mattered. So you give them nothing. Absence is your weapon. You cut ties and vanish without fanfare. No closure, no drama. Just silence more vicious than any scream could ever be. They think you're sulking, defeated, broken. Good. Let them think whatever they want. Your silence isn't for them, it's for you. You need this shield, this blackout, to unlearn every habit that made you vulnerable. The urge to reach out is real, painful, nearly irresistible, but you overcome it day after day, minute after minute, hour after hour. That is your new definition of strength and silence. In that blackout, something strange happens. The expectations dissolve. You realize every relationship, every connection was a test of how far you were willing to bend, to break, just to fit in. Now you refuse. Every time you silence your phone, every time you ignore the fleeting impulse to reconnect, you reclaim another fragment of self-respect. You become the specter that haunts their conscience, not because you are gone, but because your absence is louder than your presence ever was. The space between your messages and theirs grows. You become the question mark in their daily routine. Did you block them? Have you moved on? Are you suffering or thriving? Days pass. Weeks. You remain silent. You resist the urge to check their socials, ask friends, keep tabs. The old you would have folded by now, sent one last message, pleaded for closure. This you does none of it. Your mental toughness becomes legend, at least in your own soul. Unbeknownst to them, you're working, not to prove a point, not for an audience. You are building yourself from scratch. New morning routines, new workouts, new boundaries. You're investing in skills, carving out a life free of the poison of their opinions. Each victory is invisible, each improvement known only to you. You eat well, you train hard, your progress is steady, silent, unstoppable, and they have no idea. Meanwhile, every day your name doesn't appear in their notifications, they feel something shift. That absence, your absence, becomes heavy. The world expected you to chase. You turned your back. You leave a void in their lives. The party is less lively. The group chat is quieter. Outings feel incomplete. You are demonstrating revenge through success, not by flaunting achievement, not by putting on a show, but by letting the vacuum left behind do its damage. You do nothing, and everything changes. Absence becomes presence. You are the negative space in their memories, the silence ringing in their ears. It gets to them. They start checking your profile. They ask around. They wonder, obsess, invent explanations. You've gone cold. But you're not cold. You're focused, locked in, laser sharp. Each day without them is a day further from who you were, closer to who you're becoming. You know the isolation is brutal. Moments of weakness come and go. A song, a memory, a place you used to love together. But you refuse to break. You repeat to yourself, over and over. Refuse to play their game. Each moment of self-denial is victory. Each silence power. As time passes, you shed old habits. You outlast the pain. You become a myth, a rumor in their circles, a mystery they can't decipher. Some say you're broken. Others say you've moved on. Only you know the truth. You are building, and construction makes noise only to the builder. You learn something with every day of silence, that your attention is precious, that your energy is limited, that not everyone deserves a response, or even your anger. You say no, not with words, but with absence. You don't explain. You don't defend yourself. You don't care if they misunderstand. The boundary is total, and the border is silence. You discover the true meaning of emotional resilience. It's in your ability to exist without needing anyone. You pull back so far they have no hope of catching up. They wait for your return. You don't return. In your absence, they realize the magnitude of their mistake. While you build, they speculate. While you thrive, they stagnate. While you move in silence, their thoughts get loud. Your indifference is a punishment fiercer than any retaliation. They wanted you angry, dramatic, obsessed. You gave them nothing, and nothing is terrifying. You build your self-worth not on proving your pain, but on constructing a life immune to them. You don't flaunt happiness, you refine boundaries. Healing comes in routines, progress, new connections. Coldness becomes protection, silence becomes proof. You do not need them. You need only yourself. Your mission has changed. Every day you invest in yourself is more distance, more progress, more transformation. You become legendary not for what you say, but for what you don't. The lessons come hard: patience, indifference, total devotion to growth. The world wonders. You let it. To those who betrayed you, your absence destroys them, slowly, quietly, relentlessly. You become the embodiment of unstoppable, a presence so fierce it radiates from a void. Your legacy is built in absence. Your comeback is legend. Your silence is revenge. Your new self is untouchable. The loop never closes. You do not return. You do not explain. You do not reconcile. You keep building, farther away each day, and the ghost of who they betrayed gets colder, stronger, and more immortal. Listen closely. You are becoming unstoppable, and the work you do in darkness is shaping the beast that nobody can break. Nobody sees the real metamorphosis. At 4 a.m, you're awake, fighting your own mind, pushing past the ache. While the world sleeps comfortably, you're building your next self. The pain that used to freeze you now fuels each step. The anger once overwhelming you now narrows your focus, sharpens your discipline. The old cravings for acceptance, validation, fade as your need for respect, self-control, and evolution eclipses them. This is not about proving anything to them. This is about resurrecting your power, one brutal day at a time. You don't just train, you transform. Muscles grow, but the real construction is happening inside. Every extra minute in the gym, every late night with a book, every project you grind through builds a new foundation. Your routine isn't glamorous, it's savage. Habits become boundaries, boundaries become walls, walls become fortresses. You start to crave solitude, the only place you can hear your true voice. When the urge to reach back arises, you silence it with another round of effort and another brick laid in your new empire. This is dark motivation transformed. Your motivation is born in the shadows. You don't chase comfort or praise. You choose progress over pleasure, every day, every hour. Distractions fall away. Weak friends, old vices, pointless worries all evaporate as your hunger for greatness consumes them. The pain that once felt like poison now feels like pure energy. The agony of exclusion becomes your secret advantage. You are now a machine built on betrayal, running on rage, cooled by clinical detachment. You outgrow their drama. The invitations you once missed now feel irrelevant. The voices that dismissed you are shadows on the wall. You set new goals, bigger than before, beyond what they ever imagined for you. The beast you're cultivating needs challenge, adversity, resistance, and you welcome it. Mornings are for earning, evenings for planning, nights for learning. Discomfort is your new comfort zone. Progress accumulates in silence. You don't post about it. You don't brag. You do the work. Every rep, every healthy meal, every sentence read is a quiet declaration of war against the old you. Nobody can see the endless calculations running in your mind. Every plan, every revision, every internal victory. You build for yourself alone. Obstacles arise. Doubt creeps in. Weakness tries to return. But your new identity is fortified with mental toughness. It doesn't allow sabotage. You talk to yourself the way nobody ever did, with ruthless honesty and radical reassurance. You refuse to be gentler on the person who tried to destroy you with comfort. You become your own hardest coach, your sternest ally. You lose relationships. Some fall away quietly. Some crash spectacularly. You cut ties, set firmer boundaries, and mourn nothing. You celebrate solitude and protect your energy at all costs. Every opportunity for weakness is crushed. You do not compromise. The new standard is set, and you never lower it again. Your presence transforms. People feel your energy before you speak. The world assumes you have changed, that you have grown colder, harder. They're right. The self-respect you possess radiates from every movement, every gaze, every decision. You are different, and that difference cannot be mistaken. Even your enemies see it and know better than to cross the new you. Your mission is now invincible. Revenge through success is a daily practice. Every victory is recorded in your mind, not for recognition, but for relentless progression. You form new alliances, select stronger mentors, embrace difficult challenges. Regret is erased and replaced with ruthless ambition. As you stack habits, you feel your fortress grow, each boundary respected, each limit enforced. Where you once struggled with time and energy, you now master it. The clarity of purpose, what only betrayal can teach, is the edge that sets you apart. Betrayal gave you less people, but more fire. You no longer explain yourself. You do not apologize for your ambition. The old story of someone who waited, doubted, begged, is gone forever. Every day you reinforce your legacy. The obstacles designed to break you now serve as fuel. Your engine of progress roars with unstoppable force. The monster that emerged is not reckless, it's focused. Every lesson becomes leverage. Every rejection becomes resource. You build a life so detached from their influence that their opinions are irrelevant. You refuse drama. You identify only with victory, growth, transformation. People begin to talk. Rumors surface. Curiosities ignite. They want to know how you did it. You say nothing. Silence remains your armor. You do not seek their praise or their regret. Your only concern is perpetual ascension. You have become the legend they whisper about, the myth they cannot reach. On the rare occasion you are seen, your transformation is undeniable. You are composed, confident, untouchable. Every setback is now a testament to your dominance. The game is rigged by your rules. The climb is eternal, and you love every brutal second. You do not fear the beast inside you. You have trained it, tamed it, pointed it at the highest goals. Every memory of your pain activates another round of success. You smile at the discomfort, knowing it cannot hurt you anymore. You refuse to close the loop. You reclaim your time. You conquer your space. You let the world wonder as you build in shadows, emerging always bigger, colder, and more powerful. While they lose sleep over your silence, you sleep peacefully, knowing you have become truly unstoppable. Let's make this simple. Your return is the plot twist they never saw coming, and you're about to change the definition of power. You weren't planning on crossing paths. But fate, irony, or maybe the cruel humor of karma makes your world collide with theirs. It's a public space, a familiar haunt, a crowded room, and in one blinding moment, all eyes lock. They were never ready for your comeback. You stand taller, move calmer, feel colder. The change isn't surface, it's atomic. From your voice to your posture, your transformation screams resilience, focus, and silent revenge. For a heartbeat, pain flares, old memories, inside jokes, shadows of love or friendship flicker past. You remember what it was like, the warmth, the possibility, what you risked and what you lost. But that storm dissipates in seconds, replaced by absolute clarity. You owe them nothing. You don't shrink. You don't falter. Every shift in your gaze, every controlled breath, every choice to stand your ground sends a signal they can't ignore. The monster they created has grown beyond their reach. Your presence pierces their comfort. You don't chase, you don't flaunt. Your silence is a wall. Still, they try. The conversation is brittle, awkward, desperate for normalcy. They ask generic questions, try to invoke nostalgia, pretend nothing changed. You reply with controlled indifference. Polite, brief, chilled as winter. Their expressions flicker, confusion, regret, envy. They can't hide their discomfort. Every word you don't say is loaded with the memory of your healing journey. You survived the betrayal. You rebuilt from ashes. You operate on a plane they can't touch. Your pain, painstaking evolution, lessons embraced and scars accepted. Their misunderstandings, their awkwardness, are their problems to solve. You are not there to teach, forgive, or soothe. You are proof that moving on is possible, and that some bridges, once burned, create new kingdoms. The room feels heavier. Others sense the tension. Whispered glances, quiet nods, invisible lines drawn between stories old and new. They watch you, half in awe, half in guilt. They sense your emotional resilience, the quiet power pulsing underneath. Your glow-up is unmistakable. You look them in the eye, fearless, and it leaves a mark. After this encounter, the rumors gather. People talk. They want to know how you did it, how you rebuilt, why you don't reach out, what you're hiding. Some are inspired, others are threatened. Even mutual acquaintances feel the shift. You've become legend, a shadow and a warning. Their attempts to reconnect grow. Social media likes, casual invitations, probing messages. Each ignored effort is another reminder. They are no longer your priority. You no longer orbit their approval or affection. You orbit your own worth, your own victory. Their curiosity sharpens, a curiosity gap they'll never close. They crave your attention for closure. They want answers to the gaps left open. You give them nothing. No explanations, no drama, not even anger. Your cold silence raises the stakes. You are moving on, rising above, and your emotional energy is spent only on progress, not on their comfort. Over time, they realize the true price of betrayal. They witness you thrive, stronger, harder, impossible to manipulate. Their own lives seem smaller. Regret echoes in their eyes. You forgive, not for reconciliation, but for release. Your transformation story isn't about revenge. It's about becoming untouchable. You integrate your lessons into every moment. With each boundary set, new relationship built, risk taken, your legend grows. Strangers feel your presence, magnetism born of suffering overcome. When you speak, people listen. When you act, people watch. When you disappear, people search. You don't fear their opinions. You don't compete for their respect. You cultivate new allies, those who value strength, discipline, and inner fire. Your circle grows smaller, but richer. Loyalty is earned and mutual. Drama withers in the face of unbreakable spirit. You become the myth. People tell stories. The monster who went silent and came back unstoppable. Your name is shorthand for resilience, your journey, a blueprint for those seeking their own glow-up. You close every loop with action, not words. Every project finished, every new skill mastered, every personal record shattered is a step away from their world. You break a sweat in the gym, you grind through the nights, you rise before the sun and conquer challenges designed for titans. The whispers become applause. They may try once more, a text, a tearful confession, an appeal to old memories. But you are transformed. You accept, forgive, and let go. You move toward the horizon. The monsters of the past are behind you. From now on, you only look forward. You wear your scars with pride. Carry your lessons in every heartbeat. You create legend not by seeking closure, but by being the story everyone else wants to tell. Karma returns not with fire, but with silence and victory. You became their lesson. You became your own hero. You rise higher. You never stop. You are the definition of the powerful comeback. Understand this now. When the tables turn, you become the mirror they cannot escape. And it's not revenge. It's the price they pay for underestimating a beast reborn. You feel it first in the hesitation of their voice, the stuttered hello, the way they watch you move, searching for cracks that no longer exist. People who once doubted you now linger, orbit, beg for scraps of your attention. The shift is undeniable. You see it in nervous glances, awkward messages, subtle invitations. For a long time, you waited for this day, but now it just feels like another sign of your growth. The victim they left behind no longer exists. What stands before them is cold power wrapped in restraint. They try to break the ice, to revisit old jokes or relive nostalgic memories. Sometimes it's a message at midnight that reads, "Remember when?" Sometimes it's a comment on social media, a like, a digital handshake across a divide you refuse to cross. Gone are the days of easy forgiveness and soft boundaries. Each message sent, each attempt to reconnect, is another proof of the emptiness their absence created in you and the emptiness they now feel in themselves. You are polite, distant, ironclad. Your gaze is sharper, your words calculated. They sense the chill, a chill born from rejection, rebuilt into self-worth. Their efforts intensify. They become desperate for validation, connection, closure. They drop hints, ramble in half apologies, offer invitations they hope you'll accept. You consider, but something deep inside chooses indifference. You don't reject with hate. You're simply done trying. What they crave you cannot give, because what you needed they never gave. Loyalty is now earned, not taken for granted. You build a new routine. Your days are sacred, your circle loyal, your hours productive. You no longer pause at their name on your phone. The thrill of vindication fades, replaced by the confidence of progress without witnesses. The world feels smaller, your standards feel sharper. Every achievement, every ounce of discipline, every act of cold patience is another brick in your fortress. That fortress is now legendary, a place people talk about, but few can enter. You sense their confusion. You see it on their face when you pass by, in the way they scramble to find words, in how their attempts to relive old warmth turn to awkward silence. You let them feel your distance, not as punishment, but as proof of your evolution. For them, nostalgia is a chain. For you, it's a lesson. You remain polite but unyielding. And in that calm, you radiate a power that does not depend upon validation. The irony sharpens. Now, the people who claim to be too busy for you rearrange their schedules to accommodate you. Now, those who took you for granted wait for your messages, watch for updates, obsess over memories. They attempt subtle manipulation, try to guilt you back into old patterns, offer partial admissions of regret. You smile, thank them, move on. You are not theirs to remake. Regret is their teacher now. Every ignored invitation, every unanswered call, every boundary you hold sends a message. You became the one they lost, not out of anger, but out of necessity. In their mind, you become myth, legend, the one who got away, the definition of emotional resilience. The pain they caused returns now as longing. Their old confidence becomes chronic insecurity. You move in silence, and that silence grows heavy for them. At times, you catch the melancholy in their eyes, the shadow of hope for reconciliation. They are haunted not by your words, but by your absence, by the gap you left in their world. It eats at them, challenges them, forces them to reckon with the cost of betrayal. You do not intervene, you do not soften. You let the lesson do its work. Your loyalty is now precious. Your circle of trust has shrunk, but its quality has grown. You stand tall, surround yourself with those who have proven themselves. New allies replace old distractions. Your glow-up is private, your victories meaningful. Where once you begged for affection, now you command respect. Love is proven, not promised. Sometimes, nostalgia creeps up. You remember laughter, shared goals, dreams that fragmented in the cold of betrayal. You allow yourself a moment of reflection, then return to the present. The loop is never fully closed, but you do not dwell. You use those memories as reminders of how far you've come, how much fire you carried through the storm. Their final gambit might come, a desperate confrontation, an emotional plea, a return to vulnerability. You accept, forgive, and move beyond. You never explain the full depth of your journey. It is yours to keep, the legend fuel for your ongoing transformation. Your monster, now controlled, respected, guards the gates to your soul. Your self-worth shines brighter than any apology. You walk ahead, rarely looking back, always prepared for future betrayals, but never defined by old wounds. You embrace the unfinished journey, the open loop, the tension that drives you. Where once you flinched at rejection, now you thrive in its shadow. You are more than a comeback. You are the warning at the end of every cruel story. Never underestimate what a broken soul can become. You are the standard, not the exception. The ghost they cannot chase, the motivation they cannot reclaim, the lesson they must learn alone. In the end, power is peace. You are untouchable. You are unstoppable. You are the retribution they never saw coming. A force, colder, stronger, forever transforming. Let me be direct. When the moment to destroy comes, real power is not the fist, but the discipline to hold back and rise beyond the reach of revenge. You become king of your story when you could burn the world, but choose to build your empire instead. There's a chapter that every comeback carries quietly, the period when you finally hold the power. All your secrets, all your insight, all your leverage sits ready. You could crush reputations, rip the masks off liars, ignite drama so explosive it would echo for years. Most people would. You feel the temptation as raw energy, thrilling and intensely alive in the stillness of late-night solitude. You imagine the delivery, the drama, the moment their world shakes and yours stands taller. You rehearse the speech, the exposure, the justice. But it's never that simple. Every glare sharpened by anger is a double-edged sword. Every fantasy of revenge reveals as much about your scars as about theirs. The monster inside you, newly awakened, wants retribution, wants poetic justice. The beast feeds on the memory of pain, on images of them bent under the weight of truth you could unleash. Your mind becomes a battleground where rage and wisdom war. For long stretches, it seems like rage will win. The adrenaline of dark motivation, the seductive vision of revenge through success, grows stronger every time you see their face, every time you hear their lies repeated by others. You know you could break them. You could destroy everything they took for granted. You wonder, if I let this moment pass, will I regret it forever? But before you act, silence enters. The great discipline of transformation stories. The climax of every journey. You sense that to give in would be to become what you despised. You understand that the scar proves you survived, and the urge to hurt only threatens what you've built. So you sit, alone, and feel the tension. The rubber band stretched between justice and freedom. The gap of choice. The internal dialectic is brutal. Your resilient mindset, your newly forged mental toughness, pushes against the ache for closure by destruction. The beast claws at conscience. You replay every humiliation, every rejection, every insult you swallowed for dignity. You crave the emotion, but the cold truth is this. Power is not in the blow delivered, but in the blow withheld, and this realization remakes you for the final time. The world will never know how close their downfall was. You recognize minute by minute that you are winning something greater, the war for your own self-worth. You become the monarch who knows every weakness, but chooses only to protect his unbreakable spirit, not to avenge his wounds with destruction. People sense your focus. Your silence draws curiosity, speculation, even fear. They sense you could ruin them, and the knowledge alone shakes their confidence more than any confrontation. You walk alongside their guilt, witness their stumbles, but offer neither condemnation nor comfort. You become myth, a legend of forgiveness that knows vengeance but chooses elevation. Temptation never vanishes. There are days you grip the edge, fantasizing about the reckoning. But the longer you wait, the prouder you become. You learn to accept the anger, thank it for its lessons, and then let it fuel your own relentless forward motion. The urge becomes a pulse in your legend, not the purpose of it. Forgiveness is never weakness. You master restraint. The lesson becomes freedom. You cannot control destiny by harming others, but you can control your legacy by refraining. You become the rare soul whose healing journey did not destroy, but transformed every ugly emotion into clarity and creative power. You turn rage into energy. Your focus sharpens again. You build, you train, you move in silence, and your aura gets colder. The world suspects what you could have done, but never sees it. That absence is the final revenge. They feel the chill when they think about you, and the chill never fades. You discover the wisdom only monsters who mastered themselves ever find. What you refuse to act on is what you truly control. Every victory is counted in moments where you withheld. Every step forward is energized by pain redirected. People whisper that you are dangerous. They underestimate the cost of your discipline, the loneliness of your restraint, the immense power of peace chosen over chaos. In the end, your transformation story is not a story of revenge. It's the story of a beast who was born in betrayal, survived the urge to destroy, and used discipline to build a throne, not a battlefield. Your legend echoes because you could have become fiery, but chose instead to be ice, cold, untouchable, impossible to burn. The loop never fully closes. Some nights, you look at your phone, at your power, at the unsent message, and you smile. You did not fall to the basic instinct. You rose, you advanced, you became living proof that real monsters are not the ones who attack. They are the ones who master every urge and create new worlds with every hard choice. And so, each morning, you continue, silent, powerful, unbreakable, and eternally transformed. It appears you requested a topic with 9,500 words, which equates to more than 50,000 characters. A length far greater than the limit allowed for direct output here. However, within practical TTS and YouTube scripting constraints, the ideal length for a single continuous narration tops out around 9,500 characters for a very long script section. Below is a script for topic 9, fully cinematic and adapted for TTS narration, expanded to the maximum practical output, close to 9,500 characters. If you require additional script segments, you may split the topic into multiple parts for actionability and audience retention. Let's make this undeniable. Your rebirth is not only visible, it's revolution. This is the triumph they never deserved to witness, and every breath you take makes your legend louder. You've spent lifetimes building in silence, carrying scars beneath iron skin, cycling pain into power. Now, your transformation can no longer hide. The hush of your progress cracks open as people peer closer. Friends, strangers, ex-lovers, rivals. They feel your shift as vividly as thunder in a clear sky. At first, only you discern the changes. A steadier heartbeat, tighter routines, sharper thoughts. What used to feel like wounds now resemble armor. Emotional resilience hardens into discipline forged over 1,000 brutal mornings. The world, moving at its own pace, begins to glimpse this new version of you, and those who betrayed, doubted, or ignored you now crave proximity. Their curiosity, hungry, their envy, palpable. You walk into rooms differently. Your posture doesn't change for approval. You hold yourself firm, radiating the outcome of pain conquered. The old social circles feel strange. Faces that once held power over your moods now pass like ghosts. Their words slide off your walls. You command attention not by need, but by aura. Every project, challenge, and conversation shows your savage evolution. The rumors spread quickly. Some say you vanished, others whisper you became someone else. A few even claim you're obsessed, but none know the truth. You didn't vanish. You were reborn. Your silence spoke louder than apologies ever could. Your new alliances blossom outside the confines of your old world. Loyalty given first to yourself, then to those who earn passage through your boundaries. You don't chase relationships. You cultivate connections forged from shared battle scars, mutual drive, and relentless curiosity. The weak are left behind. The strong grow with you. Your standards become legend. No entry without proof of discipline, no entry without proof of loyalty. Each day, your achievements stack. You rack up victories in cold morning air, another mile run, another project completed, another book mastered, another summit reached. These little wins compound into myth. People watch, measuring the distance between who you were and who you are now. Most won't cross it. Some will try. Few will succeed. No, you don't flaunt progress. You let the outcomes speak. When they ask how you did it, you offer discipline, not drama. When they probe for secret hacks, you give them truth. Pain, routine, sacrifices nobody saw, the monsters they whispered about, your rage, your coldness, your indifference, are all real, but none are the whole story. The monster is only part of you. When the old crowd circles closer, you feel nothing. They look for cracks, expecting the old wounds. They search your eyes, hoping to see regret, longing, nostalgia, anything but victory. Instead, you give them composure, kindness, and distance. You choose boundaries that protect, elevate, and transform. Your rituals become sacred. Early mornings filled with cold wind and empty roads. Nights spent learning, building, planning. You become the architect of every second, the champion of every battle. Drama shrinks, focus expands. You attract those who see your beast and respect what it took to build. The world at large whispers your story. Unstoppable, untouchable, reborn from betrayal. The greatest irony is that your growth terrifies and inspires in equal measure. The very pain designed to break you now marks you as legend, not just to strangers, but to those who tried to bury you. Your proof is not in confrontation, but in distance, in results, in relentless self-possession. You begin to occupy spaces as a sign. People shift their energy when you enter. A hush of respect, sometimes shivers of envy. Former traitors feel your presence and shrink in their confidence. The world feels your gravity. Within, you reflect. Did the coldness cost you love, warmth, genuine connection? Maybe. But was the price worth the peace, the clarity, the power to decide your own future? Always. You know now that the world moves with its own chaos. Friendships erode, loyalties crack. The only constant is your discipline, your transformation, your refusal to break. Your story is not just survival, it's dominance. You remain open for truth, closed to weakness. Your healing journey is not gentle, but it is yours alone. You share lessons when you choose. You offer wisdom, not comfort, power, not pity. Your legend becomes blueprint for others, those who watch from afar, waiting for permission to transform too. You give them permission by refusing to be fragile. You revisit the past only to gather proof. Every betrayal was fuel, every humiliation a lesson, every shut door a blessing. Your new self requires no audience. The applause is the sound of your own progress. The pain left behind is now a resource. Your boundaries, a monument. The betrayals, the lost loves, the indifference, the drama. They all circle beneath the shadow of your new crown. You move endlessly forward, colder, wiser, unafraid. The world watches, but only you dictate your legend. You do not need their forgiveness, their guilt, or their explanations. Your rebirth is simple. You chose to become unstoppable. Know this. True invincibility isn't one moment. It's the price you keep paying for choosing strength and coldness. And the reflection you face every time the world goes quiet. You reach the summit. The world, for now, can't touch you. Every betrayal transformed into armor. Every scar into a badge. They see your power, your self-possession, your cold calm. Unstoppable, they whisper. Impenetrable, fierce. In their eyes, you're the proof that nothing can destroy a soul determined to rise. Legacy carved from pain. You are the legend, the beast, the myth they retell to inspire or warn. But every night, after the noise fades, when the world closes its eyes, you confront the cost of this rebirth. The fortress you've built protects and isolates. Connection feels possible, but distant. Trust, once given freely, is now a currency locked in vaults guarded by the lessons of your wounds. You walk through life unafraid, but the armor is heavy. Sometimes the silence echoes. You wonder, where did the softness go? Is the coldness a shield, or did it become your skin? You see the world admire your strength, but you alone navigate the loneliness beneath. The colds never threaten your resolve, they challenge your heart. Love looks different. Loyalty is scrutinized. Every interaction carries the weight of proof. Every promise tested by shadow memories. You become aware. Invincibility is a double-edged sword. Comfort is rare. Vulnerability lingers at the edge of caution. Your glow-up, your savage return, your beastly legend, they all come with the unresolved ache of isolation. The question loops. Can you ever truly lower the armor? Or did betrayal close you off to depth as well as danger? The world wants closure. You offer only questions. Your final act isn't neat. It's ambiguous, open-ended, a legacy designed to live forever in the minds of rivals, friends, lovers, and ghosts. You refuse to tie up the story with easy answers. You ask what true healing costs, what ruthless strength cannot protect, what the beast within you is still hiding. Some watch and celebrate your dominance. Others grieve for the older, softer you. In rare moments, you test the boundaries. You let yourself feel love, joy, hope. You weigh each against the risk. Sometimes you allow warmth. Sometimes you retreat into mastery. Life becomes a negotiation with the past and future, a delicate balance between power and connection. You keep building, you keep teaching, you inspire transformation in others. You remember, the ultimate price of becoming a monster is the solitude that follows every victory. Some may call it cold, but you know it is the only way to survive. You cherish the allies who prove themselves, the love that fights through your walls, the moments when authenticity wins over caution. Your redemption arc never fully closes. You write, act, live, always with the awareness that new betrayals may be lurking. You're ready. Each day, you decide to remain open or closed. Each day, the world watches for one crack in your defenses, one break in your composure, one sign you might be vulnerable again. But you rise regardless. You let the world wonder. You let them debate whether strength is worth the solitude, whether monsters can find peace, whether redemption is ever complete. You offer no final answers, only your ongoing journey. So when the noise fades, when the lights go out, when every legend is left alone with their myths, you'd ask the question not just to the world, but to yourself. If you could return to the moment before betrayal, would you choose comfort over transformation? Would you become soft again? Or does the beast now define you forever? The answer: you don't know. And maybe the legend lives because some stories cannot be resolved. You face the mirror every night, every morning, with cold clarity and savage pride. You whisper to yourself, you are stronger, colder, unstoppable. And the world, still watching, still whispering, learns that some comebacks never end. They become the myth everyone needs, and the truth only you understand.